Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning and welcome. It's Nurse Richard the Wax Wizard. Thanks for joining me. Interesting episode that, well, I say that every time, don't I? I think they're all interesting, as I know you guys, but a couple of weird things in two of these years. There's 3 years, there's compilation. The first one and the last one have things that are quite unusual and quite weird. Hence the title of the video, Bubbles in the Ear. Some of you will probably already figure out what that is and have a good idea what's to come. The last one it's odd. It's quite a rare thing, but I think you'll find it interesting to see anyway. And I'll try and explain a little bit what's going on. As I've said before, I never tried to go into too much detail about the medical complications and what have you. I'll give you a little bit. But there's plenty of people who do that far better than me, so we'll leave them to that. Let's just watch earwax removal and have a bit of a chat. So this chap came to see me, and he'd really struggled to hear following a holiday, which is not uncommon, but it's usually when someone goes on holiday and they get water in their ear, and if they've already got an earwax plug in there, the water kind of gets trapped behind it, can't get out, it expands, or can obviously cause an infection sometimes. But that's usually the problem. But the problem with him, he had quite a bit of pain when he was on the plane home, because you know the airplane, it's a lower pressure when you're in the aeroplane, and so often what you've got to do is stretch your jaw like that, or pinch your nose and blow to normalise the air pressure so it's equal on the outside world and on the inside world of your eardrum. And he found none of that worked. And at this point, I'm struggling to figure out why, because the eardrum looks okay. It looks nice and clean. But when I had a closer look, I don't know if you can just see a few circles at the bottom of it. And that's always a bit of a giveaway. It is a little bit retracted. So what I asked him to do is to pinch his nose and blow and watch what happens. There you go. Him blowing bubbles. He's forever blowing bubbles. I don't know if you know that song. I'm just going to play it again here. Now, what's going on there? Now, because of the air pressure change, what's probably happened is his eustachian tube, which is a tube that joins the back of the nose to the middle ear space, probably got a bit stuck, a bit sticky. So the air can't travel in and out as well as it should to normalise the pressure in the middle ear. And what's happened is there's been that then creates a negative air pressure behind the eardrum, and when there's a negative pressure, it works like a vacuum. It's like sucking everything in. So what it does, it sucks. The negative pressure sucks in all the fluid from the surrounding, from all the things in the middle ear, from the tissues in there. It'll suck all that fluid out, and you'll get a middle ear full of fluid. How do you get rid of that? I mean, the simple answer is doing that. Because that opens up the eustachian tube, so the bubbles the fluid can drain down the eustachian tube and clear that blockage. There is also a nasal balloon that's very good for that, and that's what I've advised this gentleman does. It's called an otavent or an otavent, and it's basically a little nose piece you put in your nostril. You attach a balloon to it, and you shut one nostril and you blow it, and you inflate this balloon up, and again that opens up the eustachian tube. So all that fluid can drain. Now, it's not infection. It's some people might know it as glue ear, but it should pass with the use of that balloon anyway. Second one here, bit of a sticky one. This one, I've got myself into a bit of a sticky situation already. I've been in a few, but I'll not get into them. Save that for another video. Yeah, very sticky this. And I did need some oil in the end to help to get this out. A fair few hairs in this as well, so again it is a bit suspicious how all these hairs have ended up in this plug, which again now is a little bit deeper down than it ordinarily should be. So whether they've been poking in it, it's a fair possibility, to be honest with you. But what's happening is my tube's just getting constantly blocked up here. It's taking a little bit into it, then clogging it up. And that's why I thought it was just going to come at that point there, but just clogged it again. So I'm just going to need a fair old dose of olive oil in there, which will help to stop the tube from getting blocked up. I know a lot of you regulars know this, but some people might be watching for the first time. hello, if that's you, where have you been? If you found it by accident, I do apologise. I don't know what you were looking for. What search terms you put into YouTube? No one finds these things by accident, surely. So you can see what's happened is you get the old dream sequence because of the oil in there getting in front of the camera, making it very blurry. It does make it very difficult to see sometimes. That's why sometimes I'm a bit reluctant to use the oil. Even if you think it may help, it causes this problem. And you're probably thinking, how on earth can you see what you're doing there? Sometimes you can't. You've got to come out, wipe the oil off, and then go back in. But I don't think this thing would have come out without any oil in there. Yeah, that dream sequence thing, it reminds me of, what did I watch again the other day? Wayne's World. That's where it comes from, isn't it? Wayne and Garth, they did the didn't they? And I remember loving that film. When it came out, when was it? Must have been mid-90s, was it? Early 90s, something like that. And I saw it was on again telly the other day, so I thought, oh, let's watch this, bit of nostalgia. It hasn't aged well at all. Must have had a completely different sense of humour when I was a teenager than now, because it just wasn't funny at all. But yeah, it was of its time, let's say, shall we? Anyway, we're almost done with this one. I think we get a nice cliche, a bit dull, a bit cloudy. Was a decent age, this lady. Now this is the one I wanted to show you that's really interesting. So we've got a bit of a retraction pocket there, as you can probably see above the handle of the malleus there. But what you might also notice, can you see the eardrum moving in and out? And you're thinking, why is that? Now what that can be called is patulous eustachian tube. Now eustachian tube, as I've explained in the other one, that problem was caused by it being shut. This is caused by it being permanently open. So what you're seeing is it's in time with the normal breathing, inspiration and expiration. So every time he breathes in and out, the air goes in there, and it makes the eardrum just move backwards and forwards in time with it. Which most people notice it. You can kind of hear your voice in your own head a bit more when that's the case. There are a few treatments for it. There's a particular manoeuvre that some people can do called a Toynbee manoeuvre. It's basically shutting everything and swallowing. That can help. I believe there are some surgeries and drops and things and nasal drops that can help in these instances, but very often it's not too serious unless it causes a problem. But I've asked for this to be looked into anyway, to see if they can find if there's an underlying cause and if they need to treat it or not, because this gentleman wasn't aware that he had it. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. Stay tuned for more. There'll be another one in 2 days. But for now, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da.